Because usually we skate everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But he walked with her, which I also thought was weird because he never walks. He always skates.
So how did he get to your house?
He skated there.
Okay, so is his skateboard still at your house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we needed to collect it, would we be able to come to the house and collect his skateboard if we needed to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you said he always skates wherever he goes, and you thought it was weird that he walks.
Especially that far.
That like back to his house?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you were calling Aiden. With the police were there when you were calling Aiden?
Yeah, I kind of walked away for a second. I was like, dude, like, what's going on? I was like, do you know where she is?
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, no, I dropped her off at the front of her neighborhood. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, I'll call you later. And then I went up to the cops and told them that like, hey, she was here last night. Aiden, they left at the same time, Aiden and her. And then he was like, okay, what's his address? And like all that. And I called him again. I was like, the cops are on the way to your house. I was just like, they were coming to talk to you. And he was just like, what? I was like, yeah, okay. And it's like that's when I saw like a little bit of panic in his face, just a little bit. But I don't know.
So you FaceTimed him for that call?
Yeah, I FaceTimed him both times.
Okay.
And then past that, there's like the cops standing there with me after they leave, and then the cop comes back and says, I have to hold you. He's like, you don't have to get in the back of the car or any handcuffs or anything. He just needs to stand here with you. We stand there, and then eventually they all pull up in the front of the house, and they move me into the squad car with Aiden. And when I get in there, he brings up... First, I texted him on my phone. I texted him on my phone. I was just like, they probably have recording devices and the thing's tapped. That's only because I didn't bring out that I touched weed, because I didn't want my dad to find that out. I was really scared about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he brought up blood being on pants, saying that he cut his finger from a while back. And I mean, they're black pants, or I don't know what he was talking about, because he did cut his finger, and he was waving it around, and he got blood everywhere.
When did he cut his finger?
I'd say last month. It was a while back, yeah.
Okay.
Like the beginning of April.
Okay. So you got into the cop car, and he's talking about blood on his pants?
Yeah, and at that time, he was like, let's make memories. Like you make a Snapchat memory and you save it. So we remember whenever like all this happened. I made one, and I was just like, Tristan, whenever you do come back and they find you, I'm going to be so mad at you. I had to sit in the back of a cop car for like 30 minutes. Because I didn't know anything happened.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, even after they found their body, nobody even told me that she was gone. My dad told me when I got back around like 12.
Mm-hmm. So were there any other conversations that you had with Aiden?
He made a joke about us being in prison. And I was like, that's not funny. I was like, I'm not trying to go to prison anytime soon, ever. He was like, wouldn't it be funny if like we both went to the same prison? And I was like, no, not really. I mean, I didn't even really pay much attention to it. I didn't even respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kind of sat there, and then we drove away, kind of to the front of her neighborhood, and they put me in the back of the car. And then the rest of the day, I was just sitting in the back of the car until they put me in the police station.
Okay. So were there any other conversations that you had with Aiden that you can recall?
That was the only two that we had.
Okay.
We were only in there for like 10 minutes together.
Okay. And so you were Snapchatting, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who were you Snapchatting with? Or you said you were making memories. Does that go to everybody, or is
No, it's just like if I were to get my phone, I'd click on like the bottom. It's like right here on the bottom. There's like another little thing. It's like a gallery for Snapchat. So I went in there, and it's saved in there still.
Okay.
Because at the time, I just thought that she didn't go to bed and she fell asleep at a friend's house or something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that she wasn't, like, any of that even was possible, or that Aiden was even capable of doing something like that.
Okay. Was Aiden using Snapchat too?
Mm-hmm. That's when he posted the thing in the mirror. I was in the car with him when he did that.
Okay. Did he say anything about that, or he just went up and did it on his own, didn't make any comments about it, or?
He just did it on his own. I did too in my house. I came back in and I posted one. Does anybody know where Tristan's at? Has anybody heard anything?
That was before you?
Never got into the car. Okay. That's when they left and before he came back to hold me.
Okay. So, during that encounter, that's when, correct me if I'm wrong, but you invoked your rights through your father, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I want to talk about Tristan first. Okay. Like I said, I know it's going to get a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit awkward, but I need you to be honest with me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you describe your relationship with Tristan?
We were a lot more than friends. We were really close. She called me like from her cousin, and then like ever since then the ball was just rolling, and then like she was kind of the first girl that I like talked to more than a friend at Durban.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I was the first guy that she was talking to or anything like that, but all I know is she was the first girl I talked to in Durban. And then when Aiden started coming to sleep over, and I started having sleepovers with people, I would invite her over because, an extra person having over makes things more fun instead of like one person.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Has she, during your conversations with her, has she talked recently about wanting to run away?
And she said that one time after she got caught by her sister, she's like, "Oh my God, I want to run away."
And that was the one time she said it was the night that she was at your house on Saturday night.
And she got caught. She got caught by her sister, like sneaking out. But she said that to Aiden on the phone, not to me. But I still heard it.
Okay. Alright, I think I'm good on Tristan. Okay, let's go to Aiden now. Okay, you said you've known him for a while. You've been best friends with him for, I think you said best friends, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From the first day you started going to Patriot Oaks.
Yeah, but it was kind of off and on because we were friends for about a good month, and then we got into a big fight, and we just like hated each other.
What was that fight about, if you don't mind me asking?
He kept. When you treat your friends with respect, you treat other people with respect. He treated me lower than I know that I was.
Okay. So he just didn't treat you as a very good friend?
Yeah.
Okay, so what caused you to get back into a friendship with him?
After I got quarantined for 6 weeks, came back to school, I have a class with him. I was like, I don't even care anymore. I was just like, it's already passing over. Mm-hmm. I was just like, yeah. Then eventually, then when we started talking again, he treated me right, and then we became best friends.
Okay. And
then especially when I met Sophie, because I knew his girlfriend before he did. I was friends with her, I hung out with her. And then I brought him aboard the little group we had, me and her.
Okay. Can you and so when did you start? When did you first meet Aiden and start to be friends with him? You said it was the first day you attended Patriot Oaks. I don't know what day that was.
What time did we move into the house? It was after October.
You can give me an approximate time frame. That's fine.
Huh?
You can give me an approximate time frame.
I know, I can't even think. It was before June, after December. I think it was after July.
So would it be safe to say sometime
September.
This past summer?
Yeah, we moved in during the summertime.
Of 2020?
Yes.
Okay. And then you started the school year that year, correct?
Yes.
And so when you started going to the school?
Yeah, I was 2 weeks late already. I remember.
About 2 weeks after school started?
Yeah.
Okay. So, can you describe Aiden's attitude, his personality, his demeanor?
Didn't care about anything. He was a really big pothead. That's one of the main things he talked about was weed. He didn't really care about anything. He was really chill. It's one of the main reasons I liked him as a friend. He just wasn't really bouncing off the walls everywhere. Mm-hmm. He was kind of chill. He was more mature than everybody else, so I could stand being around him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about it. Me and him liked the same things. We both liked skating. We both liked the same games. He was a really chill person.
Mm-hmm. But you said he didn't care about anything. What do you mean by that?
You can do anything. He just didn't really care. If you he cared if you said anything about his mom, he'd get mad about that.
Mm-hmm.
If you cared about his phone, skateboard, but you can say anything, he'd just be cool beans.
So he wouldn't really get mad about anything?
Yeah, he doesn't really. That's why whenever he'll only get mad if you are really, really, really trying to make him mad.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to really be trying to get him mad.
Have you seen him mad before?
No, not really mad. Of course, I'd get him annoyed, and it was on purpose. I'd aggravate him because it was funny.
Right.
But he'd never like act in serious anger and try to hurt me or anything.
Okay. I think I might have asked this question before. You might have addressed it. Did he ever talk about death, about killing?
He did all the time.
He did all the time. Like, can you elaborate on that for me?
So we'd hang out every day. He would about every 2 weeks we'd have a conversation about it. Like, not a conversation. He would just say that. He's talked about it way more with Sophie than he ever has with me.
Mm-hmm.
He's brought it up maybe like 4 or 5 times because he's seen the way I've reacted to it. Because, but he talks about it all the time with Sophie.
So what would he talk about with you?
With me, he would just, like, remember we were with Tristan one time. He was like, Trey's crush would be like fighting people, because I do boxing, and I've been boxing for a couple of years. He'd be like, Trey's crush is like fighting, my crush is killing people. And then, like, I was just like, what? Like, your crush means you like doing it, so you like killing people.
Did you talk to him about that, or did you?
No, I just kind of brushed over it, because at the same time, I don't think he's serious about killing people. Because the teenager he was, his mom was always mean to him, his dad was always mean to him, he was always, like, in a bad mood, but you didn't know he was in a bad mood. So I just didn't know if that was his way to cope with it, and if he was just, like, dark about some things.
Okay. So that was just the comments that he made, that his crush was about killing people?
Yeah.
Did he make any kind of specific comments about wanting to kill?
Slitting throats. He said that before. Not anyone specific. He never said he was going to kill somebody specifically.
Mm-hmm.
He just, like, he would say killing people or slitting throats, stabbing people, stuff like that.
Okay. He's talking about slitting throats and stabbing people. Did he carry a knife with him?
Yes, he did.
Like, once in a while?
No, me and I was really good with my hands, so I knew how to fight. Mm-hmm. He knew how to fight, but me and there was a whole bunch of high schoolers that were trying to, like, jump me and Aiden. There's like at least an easy 30 or 40 of them. So he always carried it on him, and, like, we were always watching our backs. That's why we never usually go to South, the big park over there, the other really big amenity center, because they're like, they threaten us with guns already.
Is that like the high school kid hangout down there?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said he would carry a knife with him.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of knife?
Yes.
What kind of knife?
Dad, do you have the reference?
I have the picture. I need to pull it up.
It's a dark woodish handle. It has gold and silver on it, and it is a straight blade.
Is it similar to this one?
That's the exact same knife. That's the knife that Ike always carried.
Now, so the knife that he always carried, when you say he always did he carry any other knives with him? No. Okay, so
but
that was
he
a
had
knife.
A whole bunch of knives.
Okay, but he always carried that one with him?
Yeah, that was like the special one that he always carried.
Okay. If I showed you a picture of it, would you be able to tell me if that was a knife that he carried or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes. Yep, that's it. That's the exact same one.
Are you 100% positive?
1,000% positive. I've held that knife in my hands.
When was the last time you held that knife?
I'd say a week or two ago.
Okay. So just so you're aware, we did swab this knife for DNA. Okay.
Tristan's held it, I've held it, Sophie's held it, Caleb's held it, Gabe's held it, Ryan's held it. There's a lot of, he'd always have it on him, so it'd always be at hangouts and people would, like, obviously grab it. But that's the exact same knife he'd always carried. But he had one that he carried before, but he broke it, like, just playing around with it. He snapped it all the way backwards, and that's how he cut his finger.
Okay. So if you could, for me, if you're 1,000% sure this is his knife, could you just write that kind of right here?
But this like you
yeah,
say
you
this
can
is
say
his
sit
knife.
down if you want. You have to stand up. I'm just trying to slide it to you a little bit.
What should I just write? This is his knife.
Just if you want to say, just write in there in your own words, however you want to say it. But you know, the certainty you are that is the knife that Aiden would carry with him.
100% sure.
You can do me a favor and kind of up here. if you put today's date, which is the 13th, so May 13th, 2021. And if you could initial that, or sign it for me, please, or initial it.
I'm just going to put the office right here. I don't know how to write in cursive.
Okay. So you said he had a bunch of other knives too, correct? So would it be safe to say that he was fascinated with knives?
No, I mean I have a knife collection, like a minor one.
Okay.
Because some knives are cool the way that they're built.
Mm-hmm.
He just has pocket knives from like over the years.
Gotcha.
If I like at first, whenever I first heard about it, I thought it was like he strangled her or like he broke her neck or something.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know like he was even capable of ever like anybody at all. I don't know how you could stab somebody to death.
Okay.
It's just crazy.
So I guess with his knives, have you seen any other knives that he has?
Yes.
Are there any knives that are special to him for some reason?
That one would be a special knife. It was a gift. And the one before that he broke, it was Mike gave him, his stepdad. But he just snapped it backwards. It's broken. I think his real dad, Jason, gave him that one.
Okay.
But that's not a fact. I'm not sure. Because we talked about that months ago.
Okay. If we got information from other people that he had knives that were special to him, do you think you could identify any other knives that he had?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've got a picture of this knife here. Do you recognize that knife?
That's the one his dad gave him.
This is the one his dad gave him.
Stepdad, Mike. Yep. He broke that one.
That one. He broke that one?
Yeah, he was messing with it, and he stabbed it. Like, not stabbed it, he bent it all the way back.
Okay.
And it broke. That's how he cut his thumb. Like, he was just trying to, like, open it, and he pushed it back, and put his whole finger down it. And
Okay.
that's how he got, like, blood on Zophie's walls.
Okay. So do you know what happened to that knife after he broke it?
It's still in her room.
It's still in Zophie's room?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you do me a favor and just write on here that this is, like I said in your own words, that's Aiden's knife? It might be better to write on the back where it's all white.
Okay, I just said this is Aiden's knife. He broke it at Zophie's house. It was a gift from Mike.
Okay. And same thing, if you just write today's date on there for me.
13th.
Yes, May 13th. And then again, sign your name however you would sign your name. You said he had a pretty extravagant knife collection, though.
Yeah, it's about 4, 5, it's like 4 through 6.
Okay.
He has a grenade one,
Mm-hmm.
which like he would pretend he would like put between his knuckles to punch, so it can like I don't know, I guess some sort of like type of brass knuckle thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has like a karambit one, if you know the style of a karambit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pocket knife that unfolds and it's like a little hook, like just
On the bottom side of it.
And it's fat, so it's about like this thick, and then like rounds up a little bit, but it's a
Mhm.
pocket knife.
Yeah. Have you ever seen him, like how would he just carry the knife? Would he get him out and twirl him around? Would he?
He would just carry it. He just have it in his pocket right here.
Okay. Did you ever see him, like using a knife? I know you mentioned earlier, like he would, do like a mock stabbing or,
Oh yeah, I forgot about Tristan. Zophie told me. Because one time Zophie and Tristan were at the house, and it made Aiden extremely mad. Aiden pulled it. Me and Tristan left the room. We went to the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
and like he pulled out. Zerfi told me he pulled out his knife and like had it out of his pocket,